Details on a proposal from the federal government on what defines a metropolitan statistical area and what its local impact could be. Goats helping people learn to garden at the Joplin Empire Market. Republicans gather for the annual Lincoln Days event. Rural firefighters in southeast Kansas learning some life-saving techniques.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
A proposal from the federal government could mean 144 cities across the nation, including Joplin, would lose their Metropolitan Statistical Area designation. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Chris Warner. Now, under the proposal, a metro area would have to have at least 100,000 people compared to the 50,000 person threshold that was implemented more than 70 years ago. Statisticians say the proposal is a long time in the coming, given that the U.S. population has more than doubled since 1950. Some officials whose cities are on the list to be downgraded don't believe it will have a major impact. Others worry it will lead them to lose federal funds. Berry County officials are urging residents to register for the COVID-19 vaccine immediately. There is a mass vaccine clinic scheduled for Tuesday, March 9th in Monette. However, that clinic is in danger of being canceled because they don't have enough people registered. Officials with the Health Department and Office of Emergency Management say they currently have fewer than 100 people signed up for the nearly 1,000 available vaccines. To register online for the Monette COVID-19 clinic, you can go to covidvaccine.mo.gov/navigator or call 877-435-8411. And a picture perfect day in the four states. Nick Kelly joining us.
And we took advantage of that plentiful sunshine, Chris, to get us out of the 20s for a cold start this morning, 28 to be exact, at Joplin Regional. Once we got that sun to rise, though, a nice jump to 62 degrees. Everybody in the lower 60s for a nice Saturday afternoon. We stayed underneath mostly clear skies all day long and all evening long so far, but you can see just off to our west some mid and upper level cloud cover working across central and western parts of Kansas. Some of that cloud cover will roll in during the overnight and to kick off our Sunday, but nothing more than that, so thankfully we're going to stay dry for the rest of the night. Temperatures cool, no need to say that. Most of us in the mid to upper 40s right now. This time around, though, with that cloud cover working in from the west, we'll drop back into the upper 30s this time around. So another cold start, but looking great for tomorrow afternoon. The skies go back to mostly sunny and highs back near 64. We've got plenty of rain chances for the week ahead of us, though, Chris. We'll break that down for you here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Well, a bright note in the war against COVID, nearly 90 million Americans have received at least one dose of the vaccine. And in hard-hit California, a milestone. 10 million people have received one or two doses of a vaccine. But the news comes amid increased warnings that now is not the time for states to let down their guards. CBS's Danya Bacchus reports from Los Angeles.
Tonight, nearly 10% of Californians have been fully vaccinated. And across the country, the current average of 2 million shots per day is triple the rate seen at the beginning of this year, bringing hope to many like these grandmothers recently vaccinated in Minnesota.
I just want to see my babies and keep my family safe.
Get together with all my grandchildren. It's just going to be wonderful.
And this encouragement from the Dalai Lama, who received his first dose this weekend.
More people should have courage to take this injection.
With vaccinations up, the race to reopen is on. South Carolina's governor now the latest announcing mask mandate rollbacks. This as a new CDC study of counties that allowed indoor dining found masks led to fewer infections and deaths.
I can't stand these masks myself.
West Virginia bars and restaurants now open at full capacity, but Governor Jim Justice stopped short of removing mask rules.
We know they've saved a lot of lives.
And Alabama's governor says masks in her state will be optional beginning next month. COVID-19 infections are down across the country, but so is testing.
Testing is really important for us to understand the state of the pandemic.
Health experts like Dr. Mary Hayden, an infectious disease doctor at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago, worry about losing ground.
If testing continues to decline, we will not know whether or not cases are starting to increase.
How can we beat COVID fatigue?
We need to sustain what we're doing now, continue to vaccinate like mad. This is just not a time to let up.
With California breaking single-day vaccination records, Governor Gavin Newsom just announced stadiums and theme parks, including Disneyland, can reopen with limited capacity starting April 1st. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And again, the hope for those theme parks is to reopen with that limited capacity, as Danya said, beginning April the 1st. Well, the Republican committees of Jasper and Newton County held their Joplin-Lincoln Day at the Butcher's Block Event Center. Now, the event is meant for people in the area to connect with elected officials to discuss the needs of the community. They were unable to host the event last year due to COVID-19, and this year decided on a smaller venue due to virus concerns. Officials say the event serves as an important fundraiser.
Basically a big fundraiser. A portion of the dinner tonight, it helps each county with the things we need to do for whether it be pamphlets or mailers or to help fund.
Tickets for the event started at $45, and both Newton and Jasper County split the profit to fund their organization's needs. Well, today, Joplin's Empire Market hosted a Goats in the Garden event. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a master gardener about why he used his goats to help the public gain an interest in gardening.
Saturday's sunshine meant good conditions to be outside, and even better conditions for gardening. The community gardens at Joplin's Empire Market were open today. Master gardener Eric Osen says the goal of the garden is to make the activity more accessible to anyone.
People learn new things, enjoy gardening, have success gardening.
Originally, Eric was just going to work out in the garden. While he wanted to teach people about the community garden beds, a place where anyone can give planting a go, he worried about attendance.
I had an event in I believe it was November. It was like putting the garden to bed, and we had all sorts of information about soil testing and different things, and I had one person show up.
He wanted to bring more people in and use his goats to draw people into the garden.
You know, anytime you're in a public event, it's handy to have a hook to get people to stop and listen to you for a minute. And so while we're talking about goats, then I can have the opportunity to mention the garden.
So he reached out to Joplin's Empire Market and set up the Goats in the Garden event. And to his surprise, drew in a pretty big crowd.
I had no idea it would be this popular.
The goats attracted people like Jan Cortez, a huge animal lover.
Had to come. You can see why. They're just so friendly. Like, you don't even have to get used to a certain goat. They just pick them up and they're your friend for life.
She says having the goats was a great way to get more people to learn about the community gardens.
Oh, I love it. It's a great draw. All the things they offer in the farmers market, it's just everything about it is just fun. It's a great, easy, free event you can do on Saturdays. Get you out of the house, especially now. It's just a great place to go.
The event drew in people of all ages, and while some may have shown up just for the goats, they walked away with new gardening knowledge. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Baby goats, you can't go wrong with those guys. Well, Osen says due to the goats' popularity, he plans on bringing them back to the market sometime in the future. Well, some Boy Scouts took part in the regional tournament for the Mocan District's Pinewood Derby. Now, the goal, to test the building skills of the Scouts to see if they could create a small wooden race car like those that could take home a big win. More importantly, it's a great opportunity for them to get creative.
It's a really great opportunity for the Scouts to work with their parents or their grandparents or, a neighbor, some kind of adult figure in their life. They help figure out what shape it should be. The adult cuts it out. They get to decide on how to paint it or add stickers, decals. If they want to have different colored wheels, they kind of get a lot of creativity going, and it's a really great bonding experience with their adult.
There were 6 races total, and they were broadcast live on social media for those who couldn't attend in person. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Master Sergeant Keith Fitzgerald served in the Air Force as a helicopter flight engineer from 1983 to 2009. He participated in 17 rescue flight saves and logged nearly 6,800 helicopter hours. His hometown, Branaugh. And we are proud to recognize Master Sergeant Keith Fitzgerald, tonight's 4-state hero. And that's a look at our top stories. A quick check of that forecast on the KOAM News at 10. Still ahead, details on some life-saving training taking place in McCune, and the latest on the Pope's historic visit to Iraq. Firefighters in southeast Kansas got a unique opportunity to take part in some hands-on rescue training. Volunteer firefighters pumping grain out of a silo to rescue a person trapped inside. Thankfully, in this situation, it's all simulated. Special training from the University of Kansas for 5 rural southeast Kansas fire departments.
We show them the basics on how to get started. They've already got some of their own equipment, so we're showing them the proper way to use it and all the techniques that they need to know to be able to effectively rescue somebody.
The training took place at the Osage Township Fire Department in McCune. Treasurer Sherry Schenker says thanks to a donation from the local co-op and others, Osage Township has its own grain rescue equipment.
When you're involved in an entrapment situation, minutes count, seconds count. And if you're having to go to another department that's miles away and get equipment or track someone down that might already own equipment, you could potentially be looking at a recovery rather than a rescue.
Instructor Bill Doan is a retired firefighter who spent 45 years saving lives. He says in his experience, the majority of calls are from farmers.
Most of the calls, if it's a grain rescue, it is at the local farmers. It's not at the co-op, because they're the ones that store grain on their own property, and sometimes they forget about what they're supposed to do or not to do, and so they put themselves in harm's way.
Schenker says it's only a matter of time before they'll need to use the techniques.
When you're in rural Kansas and you are in a heavy agriculture area like we are, it's not a matter of if a rescue is going to be needed. At some point, it's a when, and we need to know the techniques so we can appropriately respond.
Now, Schenker says she hopes to bring additional training to the departments in the area for other situations throughout the year. Well, today marked the second day of Pope Francis's 4-day historic pilgrimage to Iraq. The Pope met with Iraq's Grand Ayatollah, calling for interfaith unity. CBS's Chris Livesay is traveling with the Pope in Iraq.
It was a meeting months in the making. Pope Francis sitting with Iraq's senior Shiite cleric, Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, a man who rarely meets with world leaders, this time inviting the pontiff into his home, saying religious authorities have a role in protecting Christians. Francis then traveled to the ancient city of Ur, revered as the birthplace of Abraham. Hostility, extremism, and violence are not born of a religious heart, he said. They're betrayals of religion.
Such religious betrayals have left a blood trail around the world, perhaps nowhere more so than here in the Middle East. Some go back centuries, but they've hardly healed.
Yesterday, Francis prayed inside a Baghdad church where jihadists massacred dozens in 2010. Today, he celebrated his first Mass here at the Baghdad Cathedral, offering words of comfort for Iraqi Catholics. For you who are afflicted, the Lord promises you that your name is written on his heart, he said. And tomorrow, he heads north to Iraq's Christian heartland, devastated by ISIS. But now, one Muslim cleric tells us that Francis's daring visit is another sign that the extremists have lost. We have seen through all this ideology founded on the sword, he says. The Pope's presence will help bring Christians back. Some are already back, and with the arrival of Pope Francis in cities and villages once besieged by ISIS, they're rebuilding too. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Baghdad.
Is it time to get out and splurge on spring apparel, or will Mother Nature throw a curveball at us? Nick Kelly's got those answers next.
Once we got that little bit of patchy fog out of here and off to a cold start this morning, the mostly sunny skies we saw from Indigo Sky and all across the area sent us well into the lower 60s. If you get a chance to enjoy this mild Saturday, you'll have another shot with another mild day lineup for tomorrow. Today's temperatures, though, were better than yesterday, though. Yesterday afternoon, we stayed mainly in the lower 50s during the afternoon with all the cloud cover and some rain chances around. Upper 20s this morning and back into the lower 60s at Joplin Regional. Even though it was nice to warm things up again today, we're cooling back down once once again, no surprise there. Mostly clear skies, 48 in Joplin. A bit of a wind chill, though. Makes it feel like 46 with the south breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Not too unbearable out there, thankfully. Around the rest of the region, we're at 41 in Miami, 47 in Columbus, 43 in Stockton, 45 in Fort Scott. So everyone's sitting in the 40s for now, but most of us will bottom out in the upper 30s tonight. So we'll be 10 degrees warmer for the most part for tomorrow morning compared to how we started this morning out, all because of what's sneaking in from the west. We can see some mid and upper level cloud cover sneaking out of central and western parts of Kansas. That will start to roll in for some during the overnight and into our Sunday to start the day out before we turn mostly sunny again for the afternoon. All that cloud cover is ahead of our next storm system. That won't affect us for a few more days at the very least. At least for tomorrow, we're still under control of high pressure as it starts to work into the Tennessee Valley. That front out to our west, though, won't start to head our way until we get this upper level of the Gulf of Alaska to start moving along as well. But once it does, it's going to be a slow-moving storm system that'll set up plenty of rain chances for us as we go into the latter part of next week and maybe as early as the middle of the week. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, again, any of that cloud cover out west rolls on in. It'll just be partly cloudy skies, nothing to worry about. We'll stay quiet throughout the night. And again, it helps us out with temperatures. Instead of upper 20s for lows like we saw this morning, we'll see most of you bottom out around 39 to start your Sunday morning out. Partly sunny skies during the morning and to start the afternoon. Then we're going to gravitate back toward mostly sunny skies, and with the southwest breeze, you're going to pick back up at 5 to 15. We'll be near 60 by lunchtime. We'll push Joplin to a high of 64. In fact, I think everyone's fair game to go back into the mid-60s with another nice mild day to enjoy as we wrap up the weekend. We'll keep quiet for Monday as we stay underneath this upper level ridge for one more day. We'll have highs back in the mid-60s under partly sunny skies. Then that upper low out west will spawn another low that'll work across the Canadian border in the upper levels. Both of those, though, will start to push that cold front our way, and eventually it stalls out on top of us. So once we hit Wednesday and continue through Thursday, Friday, and certainly for much of next weekend, we are going to see plenty of rain chances lining up, and some of them could lead to some heavy rainfall and maybe a flooding concern. Still too early to say how much everybody will see, but it's something that we'll definitely keep an eye on over the next several days. Mid-60s through Tuesday, 64 tomorrow, 65 Monday, 66 Tuesday, near 70 for Wednesday and Thursday, despite our rain chances picking up, Chris. But once we get into the weekend ahead of us, we'll start to cool things back down a little bit.
Well, I'll definitely take the warm weather with the rain instead of cold weather with snow.
Yeah, here.
Nick, thank you so much. Danny Terzer's up next with sports.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons have a chance to move on to the 5A state tournament this afternoon. Pittsburgh hits the floor at home today against Spring Hill in the sub-state championship game. The Purple Dragons enter the day on an 8-game winning streak. Javon Grant dishes it off to Mason English in the corner. He drains the 3. Then Grant going coast to coast for a nice layup. He drops 41 in the game. Cooper Jones now with a 3. But it's all Pittsburgh in this one. English flips it over to Malachi Courtney for the put-in. Purple Dragons dominate. They beat Spring Hill 82-52. Tonight is also championship night at the 3A sub-state tournament in Riverton. On the girls' side, the top-seeded Frontenac Raiders face Girard, aiming to return to the state tournament. This is the third meeting of the season between the two teams. Girard won both in the regular season. Michaela Asmus in the corner, she drops 3. Then Jada Valley dribbling, she puts down the stop and shoot 3. To the second now, this is Hattie Pyle with the rebound. She draws the and 1. That's to tie the game. Sydney Franenberry now, she comes away with this rebound. She puts it up as time expires. Frontenac is going to the state tournament. They get the win 45-29.
Things are going the way we want them. I mean, we're going to take the same shots we just took. We're going to run, do the same things defensively. And in the course of 4 quarters, they're going to go in. And we just kept doing it, stayed plugged in mentally and great things. We felt like we just need to be a little more aggressively offensively. We kind of got a little passive there at the end of this year, and we just wanted to play with confidence on the offensive end, and I think we did that tonight.
On the boys' side, the Galena Bulldogs are trying to get back to the state tournament, up against Riverton in the sub-state championship. The kick out to Derek Larison. He drops the triple. Then Deacon Henson driving through traffic. He gets the contested 2. fourth quarter now. Joel Sigua at the top of the arch. He puts down 3. Riverton outscores Galena 19-10 in the fourth, but Galena is going back to the state tournament. They get the win 34-33.
We'll get back. I know we had a couple guys today that were banged up a little bit from last night. I mean, two nights in a row battled. FRONTENAC and Riverton. It was 2 really good teams from our conference, and we got to get healthy before Tuesday comes. Whatever that takes, that's my biggest concern at this point, is to get back to healthy.
Today is a big day for Pitt State softball. The Gorillas host Minnesota Duluth in their home opener after 8 straight games on the road. This is Pitt State's first home game since April 2019 due to the pandemic. With a runner on, Kiana Bender homers out to the right. Bats are hot for the Bulldogs early in this one. To the third, Jordan Thomas, her second home run of the day. Minnesota Duluth takes a 4-1 lead. Katie Kakowski now, that's a 2-run home run. She'll put the Gorillas within 1. Minnesota Duluth keeps the pressure going. They win this one 8-3. Pitt State baseball also at home today for a doubleheader against Northeastern State. Game 1, Peyton Ingalls goes 3 up, 3 down in the second. C.D. White at bat now in the fourth, singles up the middle. Here's Chaz Orr rounding third and scoring. That brings in 2 runs for the Riverhawks. Adam Theus has an answer though. A big one, 3-run home run. Tie ball game, but Pitt State falls 16-8. Game 2 of the doubleheader goes to Northeastern State as well. They beat the Gorillas 3-0. Braden Rodden played a part in each run for the Riverhawks. He finishes the ball game with 2 runs, 2 hits, and an RBI. Missouri Southern also in action today with the doubleheader against Washburn. The Lions enter the day with a perfect 10-0 record, but fall in Game 1, they get their first loss of the season. Washburn comes away with a win 5-3. Game 2 takes extra innings, and in a dramatic finish, the Lions score in the 11th inning on a balk. Missouri Southern wins it 4-3. That's it for sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
Beautiful look at the end of the week. Nick, thank you. And that's our time for now. We're going to see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks for making us part of your night.